G'day, mate. Oh, that's so wonderful. I'm really glad we're doing a Universe Inside Our Mind. And this is Dr. Duff and Lukey. And we've really got a great show for you today. And it's a good 28 minutes, mate. That's how our show's always been, just about, isn't it? And see what we could do to make it all really good. But it's so amazing that we only get done just a little bit. But did you have a feeling that we might talk just a tiny bit about neoplasm and continue on today just a little bit? Would that be good? And then the other thing I was just thinking of was just sharing a little more about eye awareness and people listening really interested in self-realization. And I sourcing everything being beyond mind description really is our true nature. So if you could imagine this again, I sourcing everything being beyond the mind's description is your true nature really in I am. But no other will you meet really. This is your own absolute non-dual proof. So that's a beautiful thing. As you kind of searched, you'd come to this, that no other will you really meet, but that this is your own absolute non-dual proof. But in the New Age movement and consciousness out there, people have really been waking people up and lots of confusion and things, but only in time really is waking, but that is not self. Waking certainly is not self. Only in time really is waking, but that really is not self. But only duality, because really consciousness really is a map of the territory, and what's I aware really is of no beginning nor end. And for you and I to have taken ourselves as we do to be absolute as spontaneous, the native tradition of I awareness is the value of a spontaneous creative intelligence, and as we take ourselves to be absolute as spontaneous, creative. This is spontaneous and creative as the void of space, uncreated. But the whole world really comes unexpectedly as you really, open your eyes and you start to, the word comes in. It came to me more often on the radio, actually, growing up on the island. But the world really comes unexpectedly as I am arises, and the experience whose experiences disappeared, unreality. As you really can see, the universal form is timeless, not time at all, but timeless. Timelessness is more as I. But the experience of everything that's of cause really is this beautiful consciousness being received. And you could really consider just simply like a dreamed beggar. You could say consciousness really was just a bit like a dreamed beggar behaved, hopefully regally. But as nature, we can have acted, of course, forgotten really of what's felt, heard, and seen, to have gone beyond this, which is anyone can have felt, or anyone can have heard, or anyone can have seen. But practical, what is practical of life really is really you who's really carrying on living in this beautiful gap between the beats, you see, and this is I am consciousness. But I am, is this beautiful beingness in the gap between the beats. And consciousness arises the world flows inside self, and consciousness arises of this world within ourself, in self, and people can have thought that was ancient, but this is a beautiful primordial beingness, and the idea that it's ancient certainly is a primordial illusion. but everything that's up given really is a concept of really like silence even so beautifully. Silence really is a concept based on a tradition of stabilizing nature, of a layered true searching, and this self really is the true religion. Yeah. But anyway, certainly just time really is a birth of I am. When you enter into time and wakefulness, and this certainly is not expressive of who I am, being eternal, but which is timeless. But time is a birth of I am as a body, which the body has a beginning and an end and all of the carried out sort of experienced events and things we have in our consciousness, where time really is who was really born. But the mind was really only important because it hasn't really been gone beyond. That's all. Otherwise, then the mind really is not really very important at all, actually. And then mindlessness really is equivalent to peace. But as the body really has its ability to be able to be dreaming in its dreaminess, you really have a great ability to be able to recover from illness and that sort of thing. And then you really are able to create a pattern more, of a bioelectromagnetic sort of field where there's a galvanic electrolysis that's existing in health, and that as you can go on to nature's operating table, if you have some disruption to the ease in your body, this can have really major advantages over going as a surgical, some other sort of surgical intervention. But everything that we do inside ourselves really, we could say really is a biophotoelectric effect, and this certainly is an energy which does, and certain evidence exists absolutely of provoking the dissolving of tumours and things, and then also provoking metastasizing of tumours and things as well. So if stress can have not been dealt with, that people can have had some condition, a neoplastic condition and diabetic condition and things. But the total being of our body really involves certainly whole, which is both psychological and physiological, and brain, which involves leadership and direction and functioning, which is involving our ability for a sustainableness of things. But negatively charged particles, arise as a result of bringing in live food, and these are called anions, and you have anions which are moving towards the sun, and anions which are moving away from the sun. So there's various types of anions, but they're negatively charged particles called anions, and these migrate always to the positively charged pole of any anode, even in an electrochemical sort of matrix as our cells of our body exist within. These positively charged particles are called cations, migrate to negatively charged poles of the cathode, and then between these poles, which you have, like for instance, with the weak organic acid of lemons, and then you have the bicarbonate as in this a lemon bicarbonate drink, which is a part of our protocol that we apply along with gallbladder flushing and this sort of thing. But between these poles, really a charged separation or dissociation occurs. And these poles exist even as organs, just as our stomach and our liver, and one being positive and the other being very negative. And all material pulsing through this electrical valence and field. So you've got positively charged particles called cations, and they migrate to the negatively charged poles as cathodes. And then what you have between these two poles is the charge separation, or like what is called a dissociation. And in this area, you can have downregulation of mold, you see. And this dissociation really damages all the malignant tissue because it other than allows the crystallizedness of the tissue that exists in a double spore a building block matrix and down-regulates everything back to its double spore stage, which then can become incorporated into healthy tissue and healthy blood. But this dissociation or this down-regulation absolutely will damage and clear away all malignant tissue and create a state of apoptosis and catalyzing of tissue which is not meant to be there. And there's a condition in the body which is triggered that assists to create this, and live food nutritional fasting does this, which is blending a live food, some juicing and things. People enjoy a bit of juice, but it really is not. If you look at job cell rejuvenation, you've got quite a few points there that's to do with cell rejuvenation. And live food nutritional fasting is more blended food, smoothie and soup, and more mineralized. But, and then flushing away bile occlusion so the liver can work better. But between the poles of the stomach and the liver, you've really got the charged separation and dissociation that we're talking a bit about, and you've got down-regulation of mold. And the idea that cancer is a fungus would be lovely, because it certainly is, but it's more than that. You could be doing antifungals and things, but not really be able to get rid of cancer, because if you could consider the cancer is a mold, then you're looking at something which is very, very resistant to a lot of all these chemicals and things. And you've actually really got to go after it by understanding what mold actually is, you see. And then the tissue kind of, other than kept its oxidative metabolism and having broken down into mold, if you've listened to the program that we had just prior to this one. But between these poles of charge, separation occurs. You've got this dissociation, and you've got a down-regulation of the life colloid back to its double core stage through a process of reverse differentiation of aggregated and fusion differentiation of colloids of life. Yeah. But this dissociation, as we said, totally clears away malignant tissue, and that you've got enzymes that can help break down fibrolytic tissue, and that's something which we really do a fairly good work in. But so extremely acidic tissue then combines with the chlorine that is generated sort of at the anode, because you've got an anode and cathodes in your blood. You should have weak organic acids, and you should have these alkaline elements. And when you have these two elements necessary, you've got blood-borne inhibitors to keep mold, fungus, and yeast at bay. And that is what's missing in most people's blood, and there absolutely needs to be a focus on all these weak organic acids and things, which you're not going to get much from leaf and that sort of thing. You've really got to go more to the berries and the fruit and things. You've got hydrogen being generated and a cathode of this whole anode and cathode system. And according to the charges, you've got really small and large ionic particles arising, and these as proteins really separate inside of the electrical field, and then neoplastic condition and dysbiotic organisms get caught between this electrochemical sort of reaction, and they become completely depolarized, so that they really become more permeable and you could say accepting of sort of substance that actually does then poison them, like amygdalin, which is found in 1,700 fresh fruits and vegetables and live food. But in the meantime, sort of you've got therapeutic agents which can be being administered, certainly through these formulas like the blood and lymph purification formula, which is way beyond any hoaxy or any other formula. But because of the things that it does, which we could talk a bit about if we've got time. But I've seen a whole range of tumours really have quite good success in eliminating and clearing up malignant conditions, certainly cancers of the breast and the mouth and throat, and esophageal and stomach cancers, and lung and vaginal and melanoma, skin. We've had success with brain and lymph and liver and let's see, all sorts of rectal cancers and anal cancers and things. I think that the introduction really of colloidal biology and the understanding of this more coming to be more in mainstream, it's possible for people to really be able to understand what neoplasm is, and that it's not something attacking the body really at all, but it's a perfect healthy body response given the circumstance of things, and that neoplasm really is the body, just simply sort of having walled off mold, fungus, and yeast, until such a time as is that the tissue itself could sort of really be able to be eco-sterilized. But there's an enormous number of phytonutrients and glucosides that stimulate activities to assist to help and enhance effects clearing away neoplasm and diabetic condition and arthritis and all these diseases, which really has one root cause, and that is primarily celiac, which is an inflammation of the mucous membrane of the small intestine, and bile occlusion. And I don't know that anybody's provided any evidence ever in all the many years I've been talking about this and researching it that rebuts it. So at the moment it seems like that's the best of all information that's possible for us to come to. But unless you really understand that most people do have a bile occlusion, and you've got to actually have a therapy where you're emptying out the liver contents so that it, things can naturally sort of flow back in there, you see. But you've got an anti-anaphylactive action, meaning from prophylactic and anaphylactic shock and things. You've got a great protection in these formulas like the blood and lymph purification formula, the life colloid, the earth-mate and bloom-mate formulas like this, which in their own right, at some point we should talk a little bit about the types of plants and herbal herbal formulas, not extracts, that really have a great pain relief and block the formation of blood vessels and things, have a very amazing hypolipidemic and anti-sclerotic sort of effect, and substances really enhancing the activity of antibiotic and preventing development of sort of sort of antibiotic resistant type of conditions and things that are occurring at the moment, where people are just being given these synthetic and petroleum-laced sort of antibiotics. But natural antibiotics as paciferins exist in live food, and live food has the ability to be able to eco-sterilize, and providing that you really have learned a bit more what live food is, and certainly you might have loved a banana, but and then maybe you enjoy to have one occasionally and things and what have you, but that just knowing that is not live food, and that's not going to necessarily really help a condition of cancer because it has such a high glycolytic load, and just the same as carrot juice does as well. Yeah, but you've really got absolutely an amazing, over many years of empirical observation, people that have healed up from multiple sclerosis by increasing the blood flow through the whole brain, and you've got conditions, certainly bipolar and emotional and cognitive conditions and things, and certainly Asperger's and autistic types of conditions and things, also an immune deficiency, an acquired immunodeficiency sort of syndrome and that sort of thing are being healed up, and I having witnessed this getting cleared up by moving more toward live food, doing cell rejuvenation and flushing out bile stones, and then doing adjunctive therapies, including perhaps some sort of exercise movement sort of experience and things. But the herbs and things all assist remedially, clear away cancer and other diseases, and just a whole range of beautiful herbs, certainly, which are foods. You could say certainly fenugreek and fennel and comfrey and horseradish are certainly a food and culinary herb. It should be sold more as culinary herb. But then culinary herb and things have always been used, and they often have beautiful antiviral and block brain metastasizing of cancer and things, and assist to help with digestive tract illness. And then a lot of these herbs have beauty and gorgeous anti-convulsive types of effects. Certainly you've got antifungal-like compounds and things in the herbal formulas. And then some of these herbal formulas are tetragenic, so if somebody was pregnant, it's possible that they should ever be caring to be learned about what is tetragenic, because if somebody has cancer and they're doing some of these herbal formulas that actually are tetragenic, that can not necessarily bode well for a person being remained pregnant. But you've got in the live colloid, you've got a whole range of antibodies that are being that can be produced, like CD44 and immunoglobulin G, which assist to help clear away gliomas and things from brain cancer, and assisting to help raise these antibodies against CD44. But anti-neoplastic compounds exist in urine therapy, which I recommend that people learn more about, and that's something which I practice on a regular basis. And people who are open to urine therapy, there's such an amazing evidence of how beneficial, of course, urea is of itself, but you have a whole enormous number of anti-neoplastic compounds that are in urine. And you've really got a whole range of angiogenesis, blocking blood formation of the vessels forming for cancer, and blocking those blood vessels stops the tumors from being able to grow. in the blood and lymph purification formula. Certainly, burdock and some of these other herbs that's within this really are shown to have marvelous benefit to clear away mold, tissue, and things. You see, yeah. So I think that you've got to have an approach where you're not leaving any stone unturned, and if the approach doesn't include liver cleansing and gallbladder flushing, I think personally you've got something that's very, very downstream. And now you've got to learn about upstream. That's what job cell rejuvenation is really about. You've got to go upstream and start cleaning up there, really, to have the good benefit, you know. But there's no side effects, of course, at all of job cell rejuvenation and applying herbal formula and things and life colloid and these sorts of things. Not at all. But you've got quite a radical, serious situation going on, you know, for people who kind of are less than really winning the battle at all. But my main admonition really to anyone who has neoplastic condition and things is that really from day one of listening to this, the best way that you can really win this battle of any malignancy really is to go with a natural, safer, immune supportive treatment and apply, you know, what people can consider only complementary and alternative. But going on nature's operating table is the best way to win the battle over malignancy, and not to fall for medical's mainstream aggressive chemicalizing and immune destroying therapies. Yes, but going ahead and doing everything one can naturally, straight up is really the way to go, you know. But
that's 28 minutes, Dr. J.
Oh, well, I love you, mate. We look forward to catch up with each other in a future show. I hope everybody's enjoying pieces about anti-neoplasm and clearing up cancer and stuff. Love you, mate.
Love you, mate. Thank you.